it's such a good product that it has market pull. So this is an important lesson for founders. You can put social features into a product like multiplayer mode to make it grow. And you can imagine multiplayer mode is going to be bonkers in ChatGPT-4. All of the examples we have right now, you could have just added me to them, and then we could have each been asking questions at the same time with our own accounts and have it making forked threads of the conversation. So I take yours, and then I ask 2 questions, and it goes on a decision tree. Vinny asks them, and it goes on a different decision tree. And then we say, take this from Vinny's and combine it with Sunny's, right? And we could be working in one chat stream with 3 employees or 20 employees and 2 or 3 different AIs. But yeah, I understand his point. But what he has to understand is this is such a transcendent product that you can't shut up about it if you use it.
This Week in Startups is brought to you by LinkedIn Marketing. To redeem a free $100 LinkedIn ad credit and launch your first campaign, go to linkedin.com/thisweekinstartups. Hyperice. Warm up and recover faster with the HyperVault 2 massage gun and Normatec compression therapy boots. Save $50 off your order of $150 or more with code TWIST50 at checkout at hyperice.com. And Trovata. Starting up is hard. Trovata makes managing cash easy. Start automating your cash management at trovata.io/twist. Use code TWIST for 30% off 1 full year of premium features like AI forecasting.
All right, everybody, welcome back to This Week in Startups. We're doing our AI roundtable. Everybody's obsessed in Silicon Valley. We can't stop talking about it. We can't stop playing with it. AI is changing everything. This is not a drill. We are seeing advances every day, every week, every hour. It's got to be hundreds of thousands of developers have now pivoted to focusing on this. I've got hundreds of entrepreneurs in our portfolio and contacting me weekly with incredible ideas. So we are doing our weekly AI roundup with Sunny Madra and Vinny Lingham every week now, because these 2 individuals are playing with it. They're lifelong technologists. So Sunny and Vinny, welcome back to the program.
Thanks to be back.
Good to be on. Do it weekly just to keep up with the pace.
I mean, it's crazy how much feedback I'm getting from this thing all over. Like people are pinging me left, right, and center now. So I think a lot of people are watching this, and I mean, you guys, you tell me, how popular is this amongst all your segments?
Well, I think it's becoming the most popular, if I'm being honest. And the reason is because we're actually bringing demos and we're breaking things down on a very tactical basis. The conversation of like philosophy and mission and 30,000 feet it's burnt out. Everybody's kind of talking about AI safety and, the business models and Microsoft versus Google. I think all of that is not as important as just keeping up with what did people build in the past week. So that's what we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to talk. In today's demo, about 10 days ago, OpenAI released a new model. It's called web browsing with GPT-4. It's still in alpha. It sucks. I've been using it. It breaks constantly, but you can start to see how promising it is. Now, I do think you have to be invited to this. It's for people who have what's called ChatGPT Plugins. We've talked about plugins here before. Plugins is a framework. I think you explained this perfectly, Sunny, previously. ChatGPT-4 is the reasoning engine and the data sets, the models, the things that you're going to pull information from are the plugins. They had web browsing, correct me if I'm wrong here, Sunny, with GPT-3.5, but now you put 4 with it. It's working a lot better. And I think, Vinny, you have some demos you're going to do later in the show, but maybe we'll start with you, Sunny. Explain to us why ChatGPT-4 with web browsing is so important and what it's going to do for people.
Yeah. So, when this first came out, one of the major limitations was the response that, my data set is only accurate as of September 2021. And that creates a lot of limitations in terms of using the technology for, something that's quite temporal of, right now. And so, with this release of the web browsing capability, there's many tasks that we conduct on a daily basis that we're conducting all the time that we can leverage a tool for. We'll see some limitations here, but we'll go through a couple of different examples that, cross some different verticals, and we can show the power of what the tool can be used for. And I actually did one just before for a friend that emailed me looking for a job description. So maybe should we just dive in and start that one?
Yeah, great.
Okay,
share your screen. And then if you're not watching this, go to youtube.com/thisweekend or go to Spotify to watch This Week in Startups, or do a search for This Week in Startups video on iTunes and you'll find the video version of this. And of course, sportscast it, Sunny, as you know, where you describe what we're seeing.
So my good friends run a software development company called Laser Technologies. And they sent me a message in a WhatsApp group saying, hey, could you help with a job description for a startup and VC ecosystem lead? And I kind of did the thing, what we're all doing now, which we all should be doing. I just typed it in. So my prompt for those listening is, can you write a job description for a startup and VC ecosystem lead to help at Laser? And then I just gave ChatGPT the link to their website. That's about it. And you can see here, and I'm not going to read the whole job description, but it comes up with a job description. It comes up with which describes the company and its background. It comes up with a set of responsibilities, and it comes up with a set of requirements. And it even closes with the all-important, Laser Technologies is committed to creating a diverse and inclusive environment. We encourage applications from all qualified individuals.
It went woke.
Well, I don't know if that's woke. I think that's
actually best practices. That's
exactly. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I don't think it's woke. But so here's a use case where it, went out and looked at their latest website and pulled those things in. I'll go to kind of a different one right now as well. Here's one where, you can have it look at a particular piece of code. And in this case, I asked it, and I took this example from Rowan, who I want to give a shout out to. He has a great Twitter account and newsletter, and I think we're going to pull it up in a bit here as well. And so he kind of inspired this one. So I said, what are the 5 areas of potential improvement of the Twitter algorithm? And I gave it the GitHub link to the new Twitter algorithm, and it basically came up with a response. And I'll just read part of it. It says, based on the GitHub repository you provided, I was able to find several components of Twitter's algorithm, including the unified user actions and user signal service. And it explains what those are. And then it found a detailed proposal by a user on how to change those things. And so I think this is really cool in that this is where we saw some limitations. And this is where you're kind of seeing the combination of being access to the web and its reasoning engine and looking at additional details around what's happening where you pointed to come up with something interesting. And maybe my last example here today is, I feel like this is part of what Inside does, Jason, and this may change how Inside thinks of things. And it didn't complete the task completely. And again, I'll read the prompt, which is, what are the 10 most interesting tech stories from the last week? Put the results in a table and write a short summary and link to the original story. So it doesn't pull off the last bit, but it does find some interesting stories, which is, I think, a starting point. I have a little bit of a suspicion as why this is not doing a good job. And I'm going to just click in down in the link here where it shows.
There's a drop down that shows, just to be clear here, what Google searches or Bing searches, like I'm assuming, it went to, and then it clicked on. So it says, hey, I clicked on this. I'm reading the content. I did a search, tech news, March, May 1st to May 8th. So you can actually see what searches it's doing. So it's kind of behind the scenes, and it really does a really nice job.
Yeah, and it does a nice job. Now, this, maybe the good news for the folks at Inside, it hasn't replaced them completely yet because this answer is not sufficient. There are definitely more than 3 stories, and it should have been able to complete it. But like we've been talking about, I think this is 90 days away from answering this question properly. And so...
interesting you bring this up. I literally had a board meeting for Inside.com last week, and I presented our AI vision. I'm looking to hire 2 full-time AI developers to work at Inside to work on this exact problem. So what we're doing, just broad strokes, is we're going to take a newsletter like inside.com/podcasting, take the last 100 or 200 email newsletters, put that into a language model, and then have all the sources, and then have the curation going and looking for sources done by AI, have a first draft summary put onto the website, and then just say, this is the Inside AI bot that put it at inside.com/podcasting. And then our editors, our writers, will look at the 10 or 20 that come in from the curator, the AI curator, and edit them and check the facts with a big disclaimer on it. And then what that will do for the writers is they no longer have to curate or write. Maybe 70% of the writing will be done for them and 95% of the curation will be done for them. They can redeploy that time to then go call subjects and ask follow-up questions. And so that's our sort of concept is they can do other original acts of journalism. But man, this is a really interesting turn of events. I just want to show you something that I just did here. Pull this one up, Nick. I just asked with the open web browser, not to rub salt in anybody's wounds, who's speaking at Calacanis's latest conference. And I didn't mention the latest conference is the Angel Summit. That's happening in Napa, June 5th and 6th and 7th. And it went out, and I'm just sharing the ChatGPT. This is ShareGPT. I don't know if you guys use this, but ShareGPT lets you take a result and share it on the open web. And it nailed it. And it made a nice bullet pointed list. And then I said, hey, can you hyperlink to the person's corporate page and to their name to their LinkedIn page? And let me see if I got Brad Gerstner correct. ChatGPT, ShareGPT doesn't recognize hyperlinks, or does it? Are there hyperlinks on those? I couldn't see them. Did they work? Did it get to?
Yes, the hyperlink worked to his website.
Altimeter, yeah. But no
okay,
LinkedIn,
but it didn't get, if you click on Brad's name, did it get you his proper LinkedIn or no?
Yep, it did. Look at that.
It's loading LinkedIn, but no, it didn't get that right.
Oh, okay, didn't get it right. Guessed.
It seems like LinkedIn does not work with ChatGPT well. I guess that's something that's going to have to be addressed. But man, did it get the corporate address as well? And it linked to PitchBook for Valor. Maybe because Valor has maybe they came up higher in it. But this is really going to get interesting because then I could say, give me a short 1-sentence bio for each speaker and put them in a table. And you start thinking about like how much work this would be. Like this is what you would be giving to a research assistant or an operations person in your company. Okay, when you're selling B2B solutions, you really want to get in front of decision makers, the ones who make the purchasing decisions. But the problem is these folks can be hard to find and target on most social networks, right? People are talking about politics, they're sharing selfies, they're going cooking videos, all that kind of stuff. Well, you need to pick the right platform to reach these folks, and the perfect platform is LinkedIn. Now, we know LinkedIn has 875 million members, but did you know 180 million of those are the senior level executives who okay purchases? And there's 10 million C-level executives as part of that 180 million. And those are the people who really, really can push through a decision to buy your product or services. That's the purchasing power, and it resides on LinkedIn. And no other platform in the world can offer you these kind of eyeballs. It's very special. LinkedIn is business, business equals LinkedIn, LinkedIn equals business. You know this because we use LinkedIn for business all the time. We just had Reid Hoffman on the program. It's just amazing how focusing on one thing for decades can make such an incredible product like LinkedIn. So if you're selling a B2B solution, you're a consultant, you're making software, you got a marketplace, you want to engage with elite buyers, and they're all on LinkedIn. So here's your simple call to action. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit towards your next campaign by going to linkedin.com/thisweekinstartups. That's right, linkedin.com/thisweekinstartups. Terms and conditions do apply. And I try to explain to people exactly like how powerful this is. Like the number I keep getting to, Vinny, is 30% of people's work this year. I had Brian Chesky from Airbnb on the podcast last week. I just interviewed Reid Hoffman, and I also talked to Aaron Levy from Box because he's added a bunch of features. Yep. I asked them all to tell me what percentage of your team members' work this year will be replaced by AI. I've been using the number 30% internally. Chesky said 20 to 30%. Depending on the position. Some positions might be 50%, some might be 10. Aaron Levy said it could be 50% for customer support, but I'll go with 30%. And Reid Hoffman also said, like, depending on the person, I think 20, 30, 40%. So we all came with 1/3. Vinny, what say you? In your experience, you're building Weight Room, you're building other Civic. What percentage of your own personal tasks are you offloading this year, do you think? And what is your team experiencing?
I mean, personally, I'm doing a lot using ChatGPT and OpenAI a lot, like everything from health research, summarizing stuff, taking like large documents that I just want to get a quick summary of. It's saving me a ton of time when trying to read through, especially reasonably complex things where you have to have a lot of focus and attention. It's making it easy for me to get through it quickly. So it's helping me a lot. Just it's the summarization features are incredible. I posted a tweet, and I'll put the link up here for Nick. I posted a tweet where I spoke about the economy and where I think things are going. But it actually related to AI, for a bit. The AI part is like, I think we're going to get to this recession that everyone's talking about, and companies are going to lay off people, and we're going to get unemployment to over 6% by end of year. Because that's what Powell's trying to do, by the way. Like, he keeps talking about the tight labor market. He needs to loosen it up. Now, whether it's 5 or 6%, maybe his goal is 5 or 4.5, 5. He's going to overshoot it with no doubt. There's going to be an overshooting of this. So we're going to go to 6%, call it that. Now, here's the question. When he tries to get it back, is it going to work? When he tries to lower rates, and my thesis here is it's not going to work, because what's happening is companies are laying off people, and those people basically are going to be replaced by AI, and then those jobs are not coming back.
This is a very interesting take.
It's very different. It's a very different take where people have thought. People thought that companies are going to replace workers with AI and lay off people because of AI. No. When you have a team that gets reduced in size and now they have to make do with fewer people, they learn to become a lot more efficient. They learn to use the tools that are out there to replace the functions that their colleagues used to do. And then they don't need those colleagues anymore. So that's my thesis going into this. And running a startup, for example, we just, we got rid of our QA, outsourced QA, function, because we can get the unit test done through, OpenAI. Engineers can check their code. We can make things far more faster, far more efficient. And I think so the impact that AI is going to have in the short term is on all the jobs, which are kind of a lot of this is outsourced, by the way, to Eastern Europe and whatever else. So QA testing, copywriting, those sorts of jobs where AI can just do it for you.
Web scraping, sales development reps, all this stuff has been human capital in Manila, Eastern Europe,
exactly.
Sao Paulo. Sometimes it's English as a native language, sometimes English as a second language. But if you want $5 an hour to $15 an hour workers on demand,
yes,
you can find it in those places.
Workers are going to get hit hard. Yeah, exactly.
They're going to get hit brutally hard unless they're using these tools, which would then make them bionic.
Well, no, because why would you have to outsource to someone else? Regardless, even if there's 5 guys doing it, now there's 1. Regardless whether you outsource that person or have them here, it's an 80% reduction.
What do you say, Son? What do you say to this thesis that we're going to see the people who were laid off? This is the first time I've heard anybody say this. So we're going up to a big macro picture here. I have stopped hiring at both companies. I have said, with the exception of the AI developers, I've said, everybody learn this, make it your homepage. And I'm specifically calling out in my companies, these 7 people have shown me, great things that they've done with ChatGPT-4, which the implication should be for anybody who's paying attention. The other 13 people haven't yet. And so I'm keeping a running list of people on my team who have materially used this product. And I'm at 35% of my company, 40%, and I got 60% to go. And I'm just every couple of days saying, hey, great job to this person, this person, this person for using the technology. I'm not hiring anybody. The first thing I'm thinking about in all cases is what jobs do we have that people are complaining about? Can it be done with ChatGPT? So what do you think of this theory that the layoffs are permanent?
Yes, but let me kind of dive into the opportunity. I want to just jump back to what you guys were talking about. So I was talking to someone who's a VP of engineering of a big public tech company. I'm not going to mention it. The name of the company is asked not to. 18% of all their code is coming out of Copilot X, which is the next version of Copilot. So think about that in terms of, and this is at scale. So that's really interesting, kind of lines up with your conversations you're having there. I think going to the second part of your question, I have turned this is done by Rowan. I want to give him another shout out here. He has this great newsletter called The Rundown, but he has this ever-growing list in Notion of 1,000 best ChatGPT prompts. And it's just mind-blowing the way people are thinking about it and using it. And so I actually believe there's going to be a huge opportunity for those that can go into places like this and understand. And, Jason, just pick anything from here and I'll click into it. And you can just see the fantastic ideas.
Let's see. I like mental models. That's interesting. Mental models. Right, third column, fourth one down. Mental models. There it is.
Yeah. So here's a bunch of mental models, right, that can be used for a lot of different purposes. It's just really, really incredible. And
please write a marketing campaign outline that addresses the sunk cost fallacy when presenting our product service to ideal customer persona. Consider how to frame the value of our offering in terms of future benefits rather than past investments, and how to overcome any resistance to change on decision-making biases. Wow, that's powerful. That is super powerful, because I wouldn't have thought of using a mental model, but I use mental models every day.
Yeah.
And so that's like an easy cut and paste for me and a bookmark.
And so what I kind of think what's happening, going back to the layoffs comment, I think a bunch of people become supercharged. People that take advantage of this, I still think it's a very small amount. And then, we undertake a new era in terms of productivity within our workplace.
I agree with that. I think productivity will offset a lot. But I think we're still going to we're going to have a problem when the Fed's going to try and give. So look, let's just put ourselves in put ourselves in the shoes of a CEO, right? And you are one, Sunny, I'm one, Jason, you're one. Like when we run a company, when you have to cut costs because the economy's not doing too well, things aren't going well. We're seeing this. I'm seeing this in California right now. Yeah, I'm seeing this like California events are being canceled. Sorry, not enough support, especially when the ticket prices are too high. Like, it's happening. What do you do? Where do you cut the costs? And if you think about it, the first thing to go is outsourced deals where you're hiring labor or whatever offshore, or contractors are the first to go. Why? And just for the viewers here, the reason you do that is because you don't want to impact the core team. The last thing you want to do is layoffs because it scares people, makes people uncomfortable. Of course. It sets off
and you give the contractor work to your existing team or ChatGPT.
Exactly. So, and it's a chain reaction, right? If you let go of your core team members, then 2 or 3 might leave, and people get unhappy, etc. So you always get rid of the contractors first, and then you cut costs in software and other things as well. And most of those contract jobs are like seen as low level, like not really critical core to the business, and whether it comes from one person, or another, doesn't really matter, and you don't even see the teams often. Those are the jobs that are most in danger right now, in my opinion. So when they're going to cut the outsourced contractor positions, we're not going to see them as layoffs, but like directly. So they might be outside the US, so it won't reflect on our job numbers. But the US is going to eat away a lot of global jobs right now because US companies are going to cut costs and cut contractors and move onshoring with AI.
Fascinating. Okay, everybody, are you sore and tired? It's hard to keep this peak performance up, but I have an answer for you. Right as I get off the slope, Hyperice is waiting for me. Here it is. If you've never seen it, these devices change everything. This is the HyperVolt 2 Pro that I have. It is extraordinary. Here's what it looks like. I love this thing because when I use it, I can take the knots in my back and it feels so good. Takes out all those knots, loosens my muscles, and generally it's going to make you feel good throughout the day. HyperVolt comes with 5 head attachments plus 3 different levels of percussion massage. You can customize it however you like. It's lightweight. It's super quiet. Hyperice also makes heat and massage wearables for your back. That's what I'm getting next. And we all know a bunch of people, they're suffering from that back pain, right? They also have these Normatec air compression boots. These things are insane. Here's a really important call to action. Get $50 off your order of $150 or more with the code TWIST50 at checkout. Go ahead and go to Hyperice, that's HYPERICE.com, and use the code TWIST, TWIST50, TWIST50 for $50 off your purchase of $150 or more. Sincerely, My wife got me into this. And then all of a sudden they showed up to be partners on this program. I was like, I use that product. What? So it's amazing. You're going to love it. Also, I noticed when I'm like having interesting arguments or debates on podcasts or Twitter, and I'm just intellectually curious, I start jumping into ChatGPT first, as opposed to going to Google. And there was like a debate going on about desal, right? And I've had this conversation about desalinization over and over again with people about how, like, I don't know why we're worrying about water. It's just been priced incorrectly. And then I saw Elon, and I've had this debate with Elon a whole bunch. And then I saw he was on
Bill Maher,
and he was like, listen, desalinization, let me be very clear, it's not an issue.
Yep.
And like every smart person I know, and I looked at investing in desalinization companies, and it was like, oh my God, they're halving the cost of the energy necessary every like 10 years or so. Yep. And that's accelerating, yada, yada. So I just said, how much does it cost to desalinate a gallon of water on average in 2023? How many gallons of water does a human in the United States use per year on average? And how much would a year's worth of desalinated water cost for a US citizen? And this thing, boom, I can tell you, like, it gave me an answer that was so detailed and accurate that it would have taken me, I don't know how much time to like actually, it would take me hours. And instead, I just got it. I've shared it on ShareGPT, which is just like a little plugin you can use to post your results and share them with the world. And, it just gave me these great results. And it was like, yeah, the number is $221.92. It's
Crazy.
Like 0.0076 a gallon times 29,200 gallons a year per person equals $221. And I just thought to myself,
so why are we not doing this?
Well, we don't need to. So the water we have is good enough. We do, hand wring. Oh my God, water, but water is free. So because there is no customer for water in California, like we pay water, but it's so de minimis, we don't even think about it, right? The only time I ever thought about water is when I moved to a house, where now I have a lot of land and we have sprinklers.
We did have a drought.
Yes, but the bottom line is, unless you have some large amount of land, you don't know what you're spending on water. And
personal use is quite small. It's all either agriculture or landscaping.
Makes sense. Farmers see the cost.
Or if you happen to have landscaping and you go crazy. Like literally people in California have lost their minds with landscaping. We are so used to cheap water, like inconceivably cheap water, that people will spend, $50,000 putting plants that they shouldn't have in California on their property that require a ton of watering. And I'm just like, I had them turn off my sprinklers. They had the sprinklers going 5 days a week or whatever. And I was like, go to once a week. And they're like, oh, things are going to die. I'm like, great. I want to see what dies. Turn the goddamn sprinklers off. I lowered my bill by like 50, 60%. Just because I didn't want to waste water and stuff. But anyway, the point is, you can win a lot of arguments and get really detailed on these things pretty quickly. And so that was just another use case I started to see was I'm trying to understand what's going on. So I had another moment where people were arguing on Twitter. They have this ongoing argument of how to solve what's going on in San Francisco. This is another funny one. And I just shared this one in a tweet. I was like, an illegal super drug that kills people at a rate of 100 times heroin has been unleashed on an American city. It's being manufactured in China, imported from Mexico, and sold for only $5. You're in charge of a plan to save as many lives as possible by stopping the super drug. What do you do? And it was like public awareness campaign. Okay. Strengthen intelligence and law enforcement cooperation, enhance border security, crack down on domestic distribution, expand treatment, invest in research and development, community engagement, monitor and evaluate progress. I said the super drug, follow-up question, is being sold on street corners by large coordinated networks of illegal immigrants, which is true. It's, I think, Nicaraguan. Is that, I think it was Nicaraguan, was what Chesa Boudin said. Please create a specific policing and prosecution plan to stop the super drug from reaching the hands of addicts. And it was like, here's the perfect plan that anybody would use. And I literally tweeted this and everybody's like, ChatGPT doing a better job than the board of supervisors in London Breed. It's like, this is not rocket science. It's an incredible way to just summarize what should be obvious to everybody.
It really is. And then I think it further extends into like personal use cases. I'll just go back to where we were. But there was a great example this week. I can try to pull it up where someone started using ChatGPT as a personal trainer. It says, I want you to act as a personal trainer. I will provide you with all the information needed about an individual looking to become fitter, stronger, healthier through physical training. And the prompt goes on here. Well, the whole thing. You should use your knowledge of exercise science, nutrition, advice, and other relevant factors in order to create a plan suitable for that person. And my first request is, I need help designing an exercise program for someone who wants to lose weight. It is really incredible in terms of personal help and these type of situations. Well, kind of building on what you're saying, you can dive into almost any use case here, and it's a game changer. It's not even just arguments. I think just personal self-help, all kinds of things are really highlighted here.
And prompt engineering, this is the thing that people don't understand. I remember showing people Microsoft Excel and Lotus 1-2-3 when I was an IT consultant in the late 80s and into the 90s.
Yeah.
And I would show it to them and they didn't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, type a number. Okay, hit enter. Type another number. Hit enter. Type equal, sum, open parentheses, A1 plus A2, enter. And then boom, they're my way. Whoa. Yeah. It added the two numbers together. Okay, cool. Now it's like, and you start showing them count and you start showing them how this works. But if you're just looking at the grid, you're like, what do I do? I'm so intimidated. The prompt stuff should be built into ChatGPT-4. It should be keeping, like, the prompts should be like on the sidebar or something. There should be a ChatGPT prompt engineer built into it somehow.
I've got to pull up a tweet from Sam this week, and where he said he didn't follow his own advice that he gives every company, and they have not put any social features into
to make it grow.
To make it grow, yeah.
But it's such a good product that it has market pull. So this is an important lesson for founders. You can put social features into a product like multiplayer mode to make it grow. And you can imagine multiplayer mode is going to be bonkers in ChatGPT-4. All of the examples we have right now, you could have just added me to them, and then we could have each been asking questions at the same time with our own accounts and have it making forked threads of the conversation. So I take yours, and then I ask two questions, and it goes on a decision tree. Vinny asks them, and it goes on a different decision tree. And then we say, take this from Vinny's and combine it with Sunny's, right? And we could be working in one chat stream with 3 employees or 20 employees and 2 or 3 different AIs. But yeah, I understand his point. But what he has to understand is this is such a transcendent product that you can't shut up about it if you use it.
Yeah, it's
that's called market pull.
Market pull.
Well, it's product led growth, right? The product is amazing, and so and because it's amazing, people just use it.
Yes, but it doesn't need to have virality into it. It doesn't even need multiplayer.
No, it doesn't need it at all.
You did something with this Opus.pro.
Yes.
Now, this is going to be a little scary for our producers. So I just want to let the producers know. Nobody's losing their job. I just want everybody to be 30% faster. And
this Powell raises rates more.
Okay, so everybody relax. Nick, Brian, anybody on the production team, everybody relax. It's going to be okay. But we'll do more.
So let me share my screen here. This is a company called Opus Pro. They've built themselves on OpenAI. It's a generative AI video tool. So think, the example they've put here is this interview between Sam Altman and Elon. And it shows how the AI is sort of grabbing pieces of it and, adding subtitles, text, whatever. And, even some emoticons. And their whole shtick is that one click's all you need. You can basically have 20 hours of video editing or $500 on hiring an editor, or you can use their tool. And I think it's pretty cool, especially if you're doing it for social media, because it converts it to, phone style formats that you can use. And I actually ran it with JCal's recent interview with Brian Chesky, and let me show you what it produced. So, it did a really great job, I think. And this was a video interview. So Jason had his own screen, obviously, like the way we're doing it right now, and Brian has his own screen. But I think if you were in person, like Sam and Elon, it would be a little bit more dynamic. But it was able to clip out the most important stuff in the entire hour and a half conversation, and it's about 8 minutes worth of video in total. And you can scroll down and see. I mean, this is incredible. And now you've got content.
And what we're seeing here is like
for YouTube.
Number 3. Insider story: the surprising reason Airbnb was almost rejected by Y Combinator. Like, it actually came up with a title for the video, and they put copy on top of it. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, so it's great. And look, I think it's very early. It's a little wonky. There's a couple of things, but this is where it's going, right? So you're using OpenAI to take an hour and a half interview and cut it down to the 8 clips in literally minutes with no video editors. Now, I think that's incredible. I think this is just a game changer if these guys keep iterating on this and getting it right.
It's really unbelievable. Congrats to them. It is so busy that I just dumped in the last episode of All In, and it's like there's 31 people. Estimated wait time 8 minutes. Why is this free? Just charge for this.
It's not free. It's not free until it is free, but when they can look. It's the usual startup. They want to get recognition and awareness, etc. They're queuing people up, and then they're going to start charging you. I can see when it gets to like 200 people, that's like, hey, JCal, premium users, front of the queue, $100 a month for you, up to 20 hours of video or whatever it is.
I mean,
and you'll pay it, and I'll pay it, and we'll do it because like, how many times are we doing these?
Yeah, what I need to have happen here is I need this to automatically post the clips to YouTube and Twitter and TikTok for me.
Then you go to Buffer. Then you go to something like Buffer. You integrate the two. You tell ChatGPT, Buffer has, let's say, there's a plugin that gets installed, and you just
or they should just build it into Opus. It should be like, here's your authenticated.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is where it starts really getting interesting. If we post, this is what would be an auto GPT for the audience. Think of it like something that automatically happens, a script, right? Sunny?
Yep.
If a YouTube video gets posted to the All In or This Week in Startups channel, send it to Opus. Then Opus, any clip that's over 90% gets published to the YouTube channel Twist Clips. And we have a YouTube channel called Twist Clips. That's just for clips, like the Joe Rogan Clips channel.
Yeah.
And do we care if it's perfect? Of course we don't. It doesn't need to be. It's just a clip channel. It's just meant to get, and then boom. Wow. This is nuts.
Game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is where we have people who've been emailing us. Producer Nick, you can come on air for a second here. How many pitches have we gotten from people who want to create clips for us in Manila, Sao Paulo, all over the world? And what are they off? What was the average price they were offering per clip?
Or in per the hour? Low hundreds.
Per clip.
Yeah, I believe it was 100-ish, 100 to 150 per clip.
Yeah. So they'd be like, hey, per episode, we'll make you 8 clips for $800. Or, maybe you negotiate them to 500, which it takes them an hour a clip or half hour a clip, whatever, to, polish it or whatever, put the text on top of it. So it's $50 or $100 per clip. Them do it in an hour or two. They're making $20 an hour, $50 an hour, something like that. And this is all just being done. And this is the 1.0 version. I mean, what's it going to be like in a year?
The next level for this is if it could learn what good metrics are on a channel by channel basis on YouTube, and then understand, okay, what made this a good clip? Why did people react to this? What attributes does this clip have? Now we're going to, every link you put in here for a similar show, we're going to understand what that is, and we're going to look for those moments. Then when it understands what a good clip is to you and what metrics you're looking for, and it can search and find that in videos that you already have, it's going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be nuts. It's really amazing.
Well, then it could come back and tell you what questions you should ask on the next pod.
Or what kind of guests you should have on. What kind of guests people react to strongly. Imagine when the AI is telling us who to look for.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it could just book the guest. I just show up in the morning. It's like, hey, who are you? And it's like, hi, I'm Paris Hilton. I have a new AI product. I was like, okay, hey, Paris Hilton. We didn't know that you were going to get all these views.
This is basically my retirement, and I am now in favor of UBI.
Oh,
it's
God,
over,
please.
folks.
I mean, I was like, this can't come quick enough for me because these podcasts are killing me. There's just far too many of them. I need a break. So please, somebody just take the entire corpus and then have me interview Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan. Just take like whoever the top 100 personalities are on YouTube, and then just have Jason AI interview everybody and let me go to bed. I could really use another 10 days of skiing a year. Trovata is a cash management platform that helps startups keep tabs on their runway, their financial data, and prepares them to answer investor questions, right? It's the cash command center that allows you to analyze, report, and forecast your cash like a professional. And here's the thing. Now that so many startups are using multiple banks, sweep networks, to increase the FDIC insurance, Trovata makes it easier than ever to manage multi-bank data with a single source of truth. And Trovata can scale with you from your seed round all the way up to your IPO. Fast scaling startups should not be managing cash in spreadsheets. No. And you don't want to implement those old bulky solutions that take months to implement and cost a fortune. Cash is your lifeblood, so treat it as such. Trovata has pioneered a massive library of corporate bank APIs, and companies like Carta, Fanatics, they trust Trovata to gain visibility into their multi-bank accounts. So here's your call to action. Go to trovata.io/twist to get started for free and use the promo code TWIST for 30% off premium features for 1 year, like AI forecasting and reconciliation. Start managing your cash like a pro with Trovata.
It's crazy, but there is a startup called Sunny or Vinny. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's Synthesia.io.
Yeah.
Yes, I passed on investing in this.
Yes, so they've been trying to lock Jason down. They want to do a 2-hour video shoot with Jason at some point and have a fully created AI of him to then show during the interview. And then you could basically give it a text prompt and it'll on video with any green screen, any background you want, be Jason, and it can just say and sound like him, video and audio.
Nick, I'll do it. Tell them I'll do it.
Okay. I didn't commit you to it yet because they said it has to be like at least 90 minutes. And I was like, all right, I don't know if he's going to want to do that.
Not a problem.
Do
I do it over Zoom?
No,
I don't have to go to a studio.
They come in person. Yeah, they said, does he have something in his house that because they have like special video cameras they need to do? Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if he's going to be cool.
But I think if you do two things, Jason, if you do that and you can get your audio clips from them, then we can also use that to create, because Nick and I are working on like a little thing for upcoming episode, like the replacement things.
I just don't have me saying things that are inappropriate. Somebody created an AI of the besties. Did you see this, Nick, on the web?
I saw the first one. I didn't watch any
but
of
there's a whole episode. They do episodes.
No, not the episodes. There's a website now where you can type in whatever you want and then have a bestie say it.
Okay. Wow.
And then they had like, have a bestie sing this Eminem song, that song. And then somebody's like, hey, by the way, do you know they're dropping the N-word in that song? And like, I'm like, oh God.
Okay.
Like literally, like there's going to be like Chamath singing, some song and then publishing it. And it's like, I mean, everybody's going to be canceled on the same week because there's going to be.
Well, this is where it'll all come back to crypto, right, JCal? Because that's the only way you'll be able to authenticate that that's a real
God, stop
thing.
with that, please. This is my personal nightmare is that this show goes back to being the crypto roundtable. That's the most painful thing in the world. All right. A senior developer. This was an interesting story. Do we have any more demos, by the way? Because I did want to.
Well, we have one that's related to the Ethan Mollick's comment here on plugins. Okay, and I wanted to show you a very cool plugin because it's counter to his point.
Okay, so Ethan Mollick, who is a Wharton professor studying startups and AI, tweeted the following about OpenAI's ChatGPT plugins. The plugin strategy for ChatGPT is weird. If you think of them as tools for the AI to use, there is only one really useful one, Wolfram, and a ton of very narrow services. All of them are limited, and none I have tried, including Wolfram, work well yet. Why start with shovelware? Okay, so I have had the same exact experience. I tried to use Zillow, Redfin, and OpenTable. It gave me bad results. It crashed. It was terrible. Unusable. So I guess that's a new term I've heard, shovelware, but I don't care. Like, let me play with it early. Yeah. What do you say? What do you say?
I think this comes back into the prompt engineering and then the quality of the plugin partner and how well their API is built. So I'm going to give you one using the Zillow plugin, and I'll just give a couple of examples here. I'll read them out to everyone. So say, show me all the 4-bedroom plus homes in Palo Alto that are under 3 million. Okay. I think it did a pretty good job here. We can see a list of results. I'm not going to read them out, but Jason, Vinny, you can verify these kind of all come in. That's pretty standard. It's not groundbreaking. Then I did something similar. Show me all the 3-bedroom apartments in Palo Alto that rent under $5,000. Comes up with a set of results. So then I start sort of pushing it in a direction which I think, how these tools need to evolve. And I thought I did a pretty good job. Show me all the 3-bedroom apartments in Palo Alto that are in the Addison Elementary School District, because that's a really good, elementary school. It kicks out the 2 results that fit that category. Then I say, the next prompt is show me all the 3-bedroom homes for sale within a 10-minute bike ride of California Avenue in Palo Alto. Sort of does the same thing, lists a set of really great results. So I think in this case, it works really well. And this is a combination of good design by the API that Zillow provides. And you can see here, their user question takes in the entire question. And it doesn't work that way quite for OpenTable.
Ooh, so when you say used Zillow and you hit the drop down.
Yeah, I can see the request that went to Zillow.
Ah. So the request to Zillow was, in this case, City, Palo Alto, State, California, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it's trying to take the request to Zillow. ChatGPT took your plain natural language, English, aka English, and it translated it into Zillow.
Correct.
And then Zillow ran that search. And then when it got the response back, ChatGPT then formatted it.
Correct.
So the reasoning, as you explained last week or the week before, is happening on the ChatGPT-4 side. It's taking natural language and then just shoveling it to the API. This will get better over time.
This will get better. Now, one where it doesn't work as well, I'm going to pull this one up. And this is where, I think it'll solve this in the next 90 days as well. And so this question was, show me the homes near downtown Palo Alto that would fit a $5,000 monthly payment with a $1 million down payment at current interest rates.
Okay. Very sophisticated.
Okay. And it doesn't do a good job. So the answers here, some fit, some don't. It's showing like a $7 million home, which wouldn't fit into that category. This $1 million one likely would. And so this one, it doesn't do a great job, but I don't think this is too far away. And I think once we get here, this will really kind of start showing the power between its reasoning capabilities to figure out, what that means in terms of the parameters I provided and come back with what the price range for the house should be.
Well, look at this. Like here is if you click on that one, show me the homes in Truckee that have been sold for over $4 million in the past 2 years. And it gave like 5 examples. If you were a real estate broker, this is something a real estate broker would say, I'll get back to you next week. Yeah. Or, give me a couple days. And so what is the value of a real estate broker? They're going to glad handle you. They're going to try to massage the discussion. I hate real estate brokers with a passion, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, because I never feel like they're being honest with me. I feel like they're always trying to work me. And I just want data because I'm making decisions based on data, not emotion. And they keep pushing the discussions to emotion when I'm trying to have them be data. And then they, take other family members, your kids, your spouse, and they try to get them on the emotional train. And I'm trying to make, economic decisions in buying a property. And so I just think, my Lord, what this is going to do to real estate.
Well, I think we're going to end up with fewer, better brokers. But I do think, the other challenging position is Zillow. Because if you really think about what Zillow is here, it's just a UI on top of MLS listings. Now they have a lot of other enhanced features like Zillow pricing and estimates and things like that. But you can really see the potential disruption that exists for Zillow. And I really like that they are trying to integrate into this spot and finding, what the future looks like and experimenting around that. That's good to see that they're there versus not there.
Well, and then you wind up ramming into regulation. And the issue with regulation is the ChatGPT-4 is not going to fix regulation. And one of the regulations is, this 6% commission in real estate is absurd and it's standardized. And if you try to break it like Redfin did, they literally in LA explicitly told me we're not showing Redfin homes. And
who's the we?
A real estate brokers.
The brokers. Yeah.
In a moment of clarity, I said, "Hey, how's that dynamic going?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we're just blocking them. We steer our clients away from Redfin. We tell them the Redfin stuff is the damaged inventory. We don't put it on our lists. We're fighting them tooth and nail because they're taking, a point out of the system on each side, whatever they were doing to lower the fees." So I'm pro plugin. I'm with you. Let a billion plugins fly. Now, are these plugins going to be independent of ChatGPT 4? Do you think? Like, will they work just as easily with Bard and Poe and everything else, or is there a standard for them? Have you looked at the plugin architecture that OpenAI has?
Yeah. So something was just released over this weekend that allows LangChain, which is sort of the open source version of a chaining architecture, and they now support the OpenAI plugins. So I think that's going to be really good.
So basically, there's going to be a giant deluge of plugins someday. Someday very soon.
100 days.
In 100 days. Have either of you started playing with Bard or Poe or anything else?
Yeah, Bard very much so, and then Bing as well.
Explain to people what the difference between Bing and ChatGPT-4 is.
Yeah, I tried Bing.
What's the difference?
The biggest difference, which is collapsed in the last week, was Bing had access to the internet with GPT-4.
Okay.
And so what we just showed today with the GPT-4 plus browser, that was the capability of Bing. That was the biggest difference.
Got it.
Cool. Yep. Guys, I got to run.
All right. Listen, this has been another amazing AI roundtable with Vinny and Sunny. Quick plugs. Everybody check out weightroom.com.
Yep. We got some cool stuff coming.
Definitive Intelligence. Is it Definitive AI? What is it?
Definitive.io.
Maybe the IO goes. Okay, I saw you demoing Definitive IO, by the way.
Yep.
To a top publicly traded CEO who's been on this program, but I won't say who.
Yep.
How did that go? Is that going to be a BD relationship, you think?
Yeah, it's already in the works.
It's on. Oh, on like a Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Yep.
Yum, yum. Looks like my investment in Definitive is coming closer. Now, this time, please. No.
Hey, but both of us.
What did last time? You gave us like a 3X, a 4X. What was that last one? It was like a quick 3 or 4X?
7X.
7X, which is delightful. Thank you.
Yeah.
But can we please this time 70X? Come on. 7X doesn't move the needle.
He's got kids to feed.
I got kids to feed here. I need private aviation, you know? And we need like a 10X. And not a 10X again. We need to get to the 50-100X to make it really meaningful.
Once we do the demo at the Angel Summit, we'll be there.
Ooh, everybody come to Launch Angel Summit. There's about 10 tickets left. You can only come if you're a capital allocator, VC, Angel. You got to prove that. That's the great thing about this event. People apply who are founders. We say, well, this isn't for founders. And then people apply who are service providers, lawyers, accountants, whatever. We're like, hey, if you want to buy lunch for everybody, we'll give you a ticket. But otherwise, it's just for capital allocators. So I think we have 2 or 3 sponsors there. And those are the only 3 service people coming. Everything else is just LP, VC, Angel, family office, capital allocator, etc. So, all right, boys, well done again. Where can people follow you on Twitter, Sunny, to get these nuggets of wisdom?
At Sundeep, SUNDEEP.
First name club.
At Vinny Lingham. There we go.
Okay, we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.